gals. Um, so I'm going to talk to you about healing energy and what Jesus told me about it. And so there's a lot. First of all, it's a life force that fuels all living systems, like individual bodies and entire systems, like that work together in harmony, that are interconnected. And you can call it life force, spiral energy, the Holy Spirit. And as long as it's a high vibration, there's of course the opposite, which is entropy, blah, 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 negativity. But there's the positive, life giving energy. And that is what we can use to do healings. And it's always best to really check into your high self or to Jesus and pray about it. But you can meditate, and you have a very powerful intention and willpower. And so you can literally send energy anywhere once you learn how to focus the energy and store up that spiral energy, life force energy, God's love, and you just fill yourself with that love. And then it's like a battery that you can use to do healings and all kinds of things, like maybe astral project, or just to know yourself more, whatever that path is for you. So each of us has like a matrix, an energy matrix of diamonds, say, that are like pyramids connected together on all sides. That would be like a diamond, like triangle, and then a triangle on the bottom, and then triangles on the sides. And so what God told me was that it's four-sided pyramids put together, and the capstone for each of those four pyramids, so it would create like a square. I'm going to have to draw it out again. I've done it so many times. But so it creates a square, and each corner of that square is a four-sided pyramid. And then the capstone would be the fifth four-sided pyramid would go on top of those four pyramids, and it creates another bigger pyramid, see. And so you can take that design to infinity and also to the micro level. And so you have the four-sided pyramids, and then the fifth one on the top, and that creates the connection. And then you have the inverted that goes up to, say, heaven or the astral world, whatever you want to call that, different dimensions, okay? Because I just realized we can do the thing to show the different dimensions, actually. But yeah, so this matrix, it can get blocked or traumatized and things like that. So you have it's a whole circuitry that goes through us. It goes through every living thing, actually, but of course we are specifically attuned to the God vibration of the Holy Spirit, and so it goes directly into us very easily when we're in alignment with God specifically, and in that high vibration of love and that kind of thing. And so this four-sided pyramid, so it goes above your head like this, where it would be like that, and then of course on the other side like that, right? And then up here is like the point of your pyramid, and so it would go all the way down to the ground, and that's your base, the foundation of your pyramid. And then from there, there's another pyramid that goes down into the earth. So you have a connection that goes to the astral, and a inverted one that comes down, and it would touch like above your head, like up here, and go up like that. And so you have the same exact thing on both astral and underworld. And underworld isn't like Satan or, hell or anything like that. It's just part of our energetic body, actually. There's 7 different, well, there's more than that, but there's 7 main worlds in our underworld. And so shamans know all about this. Essentially, shamans will have the same experiences all around the world, and that's how that happened. Is because they would pray or meditate, and they would channel the energy, which is that pattern, and so then they would see that and know all these different things that all coincide with with all the different tribes, right? And maybe it was also a story given to us by Creator before we all broke up and went all around the world. And that's a thought of many cultures, actually. So there's probably some truth to that. But I do know the shamanic journey because I do it, and it's a same thing as a priest connection to God, really. They just call it that, to make people scared or something. Like, there's good and bad of everything. There are priests that will not let you have your power either, so, and take advantage, So you just really have to be, I guess, careful who you're dealing with, what their intentions are, and that kind of thing. I personally just want people to know their power and not mess with other people when they find their power because I've been in like real shaman wars. Okay, I've been doing this work for well, my whole life. Since I was 4 years old, I started learning about it because Jesus came to me when I was 4. And then, well, the Council of 12 came, Council of 9, let's put this right. Blue light beings came to me when I was 4 years old. First time I was dropped on my head. Then, about 6 months later after that, I had the measles and I was locked in a dark room. And Melchizedek came and took me out of the room and said he was going to take me to go meet Jesus. And he took me into himself, and we went into an invisible UFO, something that materialized. Once we got in there, I went, it's a long story. But so I've always had this really deep knowing of God. Like, I really just have no doubt that He's real because I interact with Him and with a lot of different things. So anyways, he told me about all these, the energy and the matrix, and how we connect to God, and how the energy flows through us, and how we can have like optimal health and heal, through our intention. And so sometimes, it might take a little bit more work to get someone to heal or something like that. But you also have to be careful of doing healings. Even if people ask you for them, you could be interrupting their growth or their something that they need in their life, right? So it's kind of crazy. I've actually been threatened for saving people's lives, and yeah, it's really weird. People would rather have the insurance money quite often than their health. So yeah. Also, being a healer is like a first level stage of work, really. Like most people don't even do the energy healing. What I'm talking about, they just do like maybe hands-on or Reiki or whatever like that. It's a lot different, or not a lot different. It's along the same lines of energy work, but I connect to God first always, and then I see the perfection on the people. And sometimes, well, first, actually, you want to clear them. You want to take out all the stagnant energy out of them. And then you put in God's love. And so you can ask Jesus to go to them. Like they could be all the way across the planet, and you could ask Jesus to go to them. And it's been just phenomenal, the things that have happened. You can like synchronize with them so they know when, the action is happening and that kind of thing. And in one of my first healings I did, this is so amazing. A man had cancer of his chest, and so he was only given a very short time to live, and he was about to go in for surgery on his chest. And I came in contact with his friend. She told me about it, and I told her I was doing healings and things. And so she's like, "Oh, you've got to talk to him right now," because she believed in the Spirit of God and all that. And so, power of healing. And so I called him, and I usually will take like 3 days to figure out what I need to do and make sure like it's right for me and them. And so then I did that. I prayed about it and everything. And I've been a drum maker before. Like we make these giant drums and all different sizes of drums. So I got anything. And so Jesus told me